Hi there, I am Uko and this is 1QFoodplatter Kitchen. There's this soup that seems to be making the waves now, and that is Fisherman Soup. So if you're visiting Cross River or Akwa Ibom, that axis, particularly the capitals, Calabar and Uyo, try the Fisherman Soup. It's something that would amaze you. The ingredients for Fisherman Soup are pretty easy, and as the name says, it's something a typical fisherman should be cooking, which is of course fish, some prawns, periwinkle, snails, and also sea snails. If you have crabs, I mean, you can go to all lengths with Fisherman Soup. But for today, I'm just staying with the fresh fish, the prawn, the snail, and some periwinkle. We normally would want to thicken this soup with yam. That's the way it is cooked. And because it's fish and seafood, I particularly like quite a bit of chili in seafood. That's the only way I can tolerate seafood. But of course, pepper is always to your tolerance level. We need some palm oil, some salt. Okra is really for garnishing. I mean, for me, I always like one vegetable or the other in my dish or in my soup. You have the uziza leaves. Uziza leaves, incidentally, I'm growing in my garden, so whenever I need to cook, I go pluck some bits to use. I'm also going to be using some uziza seeds, and you'll see the way I treat this. It's all to add that flavor to the dish. We'll be steaming the fish with some onion, and that basically are the ingredients you need for Fisherman Soup. So let's go. So we'll steam the snails and fish first, because these ones are, should I say, a bit tougher than the prawns. The prawns will come in later, and my periwinkle would also come in almost towards the end. So we add some seasoning cubes and some pepper. For this dish in particular, I like parsley pounded or blended pepper for color, and yeah, just the way I like it. A little bit of salt, and then I'll prepare the uziza seeds to add as well for flavor in particular. And you'll see how I treat this. So I pound this, or just crush it enough to release the flavor from the seeds. I think that's done, and I will tie it in this cheesecloth. Okay, so I put that in tightly, because all I want is for the flavor to be released. I don't want the hard seed in the soup. Tie that properly, and I cut off the excess fabric. This we will take out of the soup when the soup is ready, or you can leave it there, you know, but I don't want the lint absorbing all my flavors, so I just drop this and then I add some water. We then steam on low heat. On low heat. The fish just requires that you steam on low heat. Cover that. So we'll check on this. The fish and the snails have been boiling for some time, actually almost cooked. So we'll add the prawn now. You know, the prawn, the fish, the snails all add to the taste of the dish. I mean, beyond the fact that you're just going to be eating protein. So they just add to the taste. I'll leave this to cook for just 2 minutes, because a lot of this protein would cook up finally in the soup. You know, with periwinkles, I try to remove all the soft bits of it. These ones are pretty tiny. Usually if I can get the bigger size periwinkle, I prefer that, or actually sea snails. These ones are small, you know, so we'll use it the way it is. But when you find the bigger ones, I think they're also tastier. This is ready, and we'll take this off the fire and start the cooking proper. So we put this on the fire and add some water. And in here would go everything, and we just start the process. So we allow the water to heat up a bit. I think I actually need a little bit more water because I have enough pounded yam to thicken the soup. So I mean, that's about a cup of water. I mean, of course, depending on how many people you're serving with the soup, you know, you eyeball it and ensure that you have enough sauce or enough soup, you know, to work with. So we'll start the process. The water is heating up. I add some fresh pepper again, but you can actually add dry pepper. That pepper was much. You can use dry pepper at this stage, but you know, sometimes I use dry, sometimes I use fresh pepper. Next is crayfish. I season, and then we just allow this, just let the pepper cook up a bit, and then we'll add some oil. So I'm going to thicken the soup now with pounded yam. This is the way I do my pounded yam. I try to flatten it so that it disintegrates quickly in the soup. Now you can use any other thickener like oats. You know, I do that sometimes, you know, blended oat. Some people use cocoa yam. So whatever you find convenient, you can, but I find the texture of yam most suitable for this soup. But you know, sometimes we don't have this and we're not even in the mood to pound anything. Then you can hasten or quicken your process by using some other thickeners. So we'll just allow this to thicken, but while that is doing, I want to return the snails into the soup because that takes a bit longer to cook. The fish is cooked, but the snail I think could do with some help. So I'll put the snail in the soup while that is cooking. And then of course, remember, I had my uziza spice. I will still leave it here and take it out at the end of the cooking. So we'll just wait for this to thicken and then we continue. You know, the consistency is like open salad or afia ferel, is that thick. So we just leave this. I will also add the stock from the fish at this point. So we leave that not to cover because when covering it reduces the speed of thickening. So we allow this and then we go on with our soup. So we'll check. Ooh, I think I have the consistency I want. You know, it's not such a thick soup, but it's not light soup either. So what I'll do now is to add the uziza leaves to bring that flavor in it. It's not vegetable as such, it's more like herb. And then I'll add the okra. Again, I had said the okra is to just add some bits of vegetable if you wish. At this point, I will take out the pieces of yam that did not disintegrate. Usually I like to eat this, you know, just before the main meal. So I'll take this out and then we return the fish in there. Remember, I also had my spice in there, so I have to fish that out and take out. But first, let's get rid of the pounded yam that did not disintegrate. And that's it. The uziza spice. I can leave it and use it for some other dish, or I just get rid of this. So that's done. We then add the fish and the prawn. I could do this with my hands. Just return them. They are cooked anyway, so we return them to the pot. Fish is delicate, so that's why I'm using my hands. All we just want is for it to pick up the extra flavors that we have in there. And the fish head, I don't know, I like some fish head, particularly the catfish head, but some other fish head, I'm not so sure. So let's see, we still have some goodness at the base of this pot. We'll just pour that in. By the time the fish is added, we have to be careful. As you can see, I'm using wooden spoon. It's just so that I don't break up the fish. My fisherman soup is ready. What I see here and what I know this will taste like is something I think you should try. So lastly, we add the periwinkle. Like I said, for periwinkle that has been taken out of the shell, it's sort of cooked, so you don't really need to put it there and cook forever. So it's just the last thing that comes in. The fisherman soup is ready and my pounded yam is ready. I'll come back and tuck in. In goes fish, snail, and a lot of the soup and the prawn. I like what I'm seeing in this plate. Isn't that lovely? Yes, I said I was going to do some justice to this, and so I have my pounded yam already. I'll leave the fish for later and just go with the snail and the prawn. Let's see what this tastes like. Of course I know what it tastes like. I cooked it, so it has to be good. But it is good actually, it is good. I'll deal with the prawns and the snails later. For now, you go out there, pick up some seafood, anyone you can afford. As you can see, pretty easy to put together fisherman soup. Now, you need to subscribe because that's how you get new recipes that I'll be putting out on this channel. Until I come your way again, bye for now.